Hello, ladies, and welcome back to Chubby After Baby. This week, our question is: should I wake my baby to feed him slash her? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave us your answers at the bottom. Um, yeah. So now that we got all that out the way, so again, we sit down and we do this research. You might not have time as a parent, and this is definitely something that you can just play and kind of listen to in the background. And I always try and show you credible sources, so it's not my opinion, but you see the opinions of doctors and other magazines and things like that. And these are always interesting topics just because, as a new mom, there are lots of questions. And so, again, welcome, 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 and thank you for tuning in. So, should you wake your baby to feed him? All right. So, our first answer, um, it looks like it's Musti. I don't know. Never heard of them, but let's see what their initial paragraph says. Um, Generally, pediatricians advise you to wake your newborn at night if they will be fed during the daytime. In general, babies shouldn't go without food longer than 4 hours. However, if they don't sleep over 4 hours, uh, it's okay to wake them um, if they do not. Oh, there we go. Sorry. However, if they don't sleep over 4 hours, it's okay to wake them if they have not slept for such a short period. Um, I definitely think that's worded poorly. So we're gonna move on. Just pretend we never read that part. All right. Let's see. Let's open up the Mayo Clinic. I am unfamiliar with medicine.net, but we'll open and see what else is up. Let's go with kidshealth.org. There's WebMD. We'll open them up too. And then, at the bottom, this is really interesting too, right? Like, should I wake my 2-month-old to feed him? Should I wake my 7-week-old, 4-week-old, 1-month-old? So, I mean, people are also asking, or moms are also asking, about specific, time periods, of growth in their baby's life, about whether or not they should be woken up. All right, let's dig in. All right, so this one is the Mayo Clinic. Let's see what they're saying. So, see, most newborns lose weight in the first few days after birth. Until your newborn regains the weight loss, usually within 1 to 2 weeks, it's important to feed him or her frequently. This might mean occasionally waking the baby up for feeding, especially if he or she sleeps for a stretch of more than 4 hours. All right, that's 1 to 2 weeks. Let's keep reading. Let's scroll down. Most newborns need 8 to 12 feedings a day, about one feeding every 2 to 3 hours. While waking up a sleeping baby might seem like a bad idea, frequently feeding early on is important for a couple of reasons. Crying is a late sign of hunger. The sooner you begin feeding, the less likely you'll need to soothe a frantic baby. Looking for early signs of hunger, such as hand to mouth activity, smacking lips, rooting, stirring while sleeping. All right. This is like it's a really good nugget of information right there. Early signs of hunger, hand to mouth activity, smacking, rooting, and stirring while sleeping. Good thing to keep in mind for moms. Frequent feeding supports early breastfeeding. If you breastfeed frequently, feeding will help you establish your milk supply. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so that's it for the Mayo Clinic. We got a really good little nugget about early warning signs. They're recommending your feed um, anywhere from, what is it? Yeah, here it is. 8 to 12 times a day. All right, so now we're going to look over at medicine.net. That is such a cute little picture. Okay, most pediatricians recommend that you wake your baby uh, if they are due for daytime or nighttime feeding. Again, more than 4 hours. Let's see. Here we go. Babies will need to be fed during the night for a period of time after their birth. But as they get older and graduate to sleeping through the night, you will need to make sure they're getting enough to eat during the day. So you can wake them up for their daytime naps if it's overdue for their feeding. I like to think that references back to sort of that time frame of newer questions that we were looking at, like should you wake your baby, to feed after 10 weeks, after, I think 10 weeks was the longest, because that says only 2 months. Okay, where are we? Yep, okay, not that one. All right. Let's see. How to wake up your sleeping baby while feeding. Oh, that's good too. All right, let's look at this. Skin to skin method. Strip your baby down to the diaper, lay him down on your bare chest. Most babies will start to stir when they smell their mother and feel her touch. Light tickling or your baby's feet. Watch the movement in their arms, legs, and face, or arms, legs, and face. I say like lace, right? If your baby limbs are dangling limply, that means they will especially be hard to wake. Wait for your baby to be in less of a deep sleep. That makes sense. Let's see. Typically, babies will need 9 to 8. I don't know why they did that. We're going to rechange that. Typically, babies need about 8 to 9 hours of sleep until they're 3 months old. On average, they will sleep 14.5 hours. All right. So, yeah, with that notion, you definitely need to wake your baby to feed him or her. All right. I don't know. I don't feel like this article was nearly as helpful. Um, yeah, I mean, so maybe not medicine.net. Like I didn't really find that answered my question really. And it could be wrong. Let me know what you thought of all the articles. Okay. Da da da. Oh, this one just says sleep in your newborn. So it's probably going to be very generic too. This one is on kidshealth.org. Uh, do do do. So, I mean, this is again looks super generic. So we're gonna skip this one. I don't think this is a good article at all. All right, so let's go to WebMD. Baby sleep expert Q&A. All right, let's see. All right, that's about sleeping through the night. This is a contrary. All right, I don't recommend waking babies for nighttime feedings because you want them to sleep. However, I would suggest that you wake them for night feedings in the first couple of weeks. If they haven't yet gained back their birth weight, babies tend to lose 10% of their weight after they're born. Also, if they're sleeping more in the day than the night, I do suggest waking them up. I do suggest waking them so they don't go more than 4 hours of feeding. Okay, so like this is it's a little bit of a contrast, right? She talks about babies losing 10% of their birth rate, right? We saw that in the other Mayo Clinic article that the baby will lose some of the weight after birth. Now, she was sort of recommending that you wake them up for nighttime feedings for the first couple of weeks. And okay, so let's go back to right that first couple of weeks. So should I wake my baby to feed him at 3 weeks? I mean, maybe, right? It definitely sounds like the author of um, or writer on WebMD is suggesting that you should just yeah, right here. If they haven't gained back their birth weight, right? You definitely want to wake and feed them. She's saying later on, if they've got their birth weight back up, they're gaining weight, don't wake them up. All right, that's a contrast and clarifying. Should I stick to a strict sleeping schedule? Not quite related, but let's see. Maybe that'll be next week's question, right? So if you have a question, I never thought of it, right? If you have a new mom question and you want to do or you want me to do some research on it, maybe share it with some other new moms who may have that question, go ahead and leave that in the comments. And I'm not promising, right? But I'll take a look at it. And maybe that'll be the next new mom video, right? You never know. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Da, da, da. Trying to like stay on topic. Like they've got some really interesting topics, in the sense of, should I let my baby cry himself to sleep? That definitely looks like a topic um, that we'll want to cover in depth. But we'll read it right now since we're here, right? Depends on the baby and depends on the age. The method of crying out has been the most studied, and it works for many babies. But you should talk to your pediatrician about it, whether it's right for you. Some babies get tired and go to sleep after crying, but some just get angrier. So where crying out works for many babies, it doesn't work for all of them. And there are some babies who just need to wake up and feed, and they will go back to bed. Instead of denying feeding and having them cry, it's best to feed them. Generally, after 4 months or so, you'll find that your baby probably won't need to eat as much. Hey, right there we go back to that 4 month mark. So if they're waking up and crying and falling asleep as soon as they get breastfed or a bottle, you'll know they're not hungry. But if they're waking up ravenously, finishing breastfeeding or a bottle, and they still need to be fed at night, rule of thumb. Let's see. If it's 1 or 2 hours since you put them to bed, they probably don't need to be fed. But if it's more than 3 or 4 hours, they're probably hungry. Cool, cool, cool. All right, well, that's interesting. All right. I'm kind of curious about that whole 10-week thing. They keep coming up. Like, who are they? um, yeah, okay, so we clicked on them again, right? Like, we weren't thrilled about a lot of their answers. Was it them that we weren't thrilled about? Anyway, um, but yeah, so this article is written by Allie. My name is Allie. I have a mother of 3 adorable angels, Tom, Clara, and Tanya. We've worked with children in facilities in a variety of capacities for 30 years. I am a child development specialist. My career as a child and family therapist began with my training as a clinical social worker and psychotherapist. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if you ever look at a site and you're not sure, just maybe look up a little bit the person who wrote the article. You can always do a search on the company itself. Most people have like an about page, um, to see if you find their information credible or believable. So, as always, thank you for tuning in. Feel free to, do your own research. I don't have the answers. I don't claim to be an expert in anything. But when I want to know something, right, I look it up, and try and hit up some of the credible sites and really find out um, the information that I'm looking for. So I hope that you can appreciate this, right? And so again, thank you for tuning in. If you have questions or comments, just go ahead and leave them below. All right. I will see you guys next week in the next video with an awesome new mom question. Later.